Teaching Students to Align with Traffic Sounds by Donna Sauerberger. This video illustrates a simple way to teach students to use the sound of traffic on the parallel street to align for crossing. The training usually takes about half an hour. In general, the strategy is to have the students listen to traffic sounds, first when they are positioned in alignment with the traffic, then when they are positioned slightly out of alignment, that is, facing too much to the right or to the left, and have them notice the difference in how the traffic sounds when they're not aligned parallel to the traffic movement. Once they can hear the difference, you test them by having them turn around a few times and then ask them to use the traffic sounds to align. That is, turn themselves until the traffic sounds like it did when they were aligned. If they don't align correctly, tell them it's not correct and ask them to listen to the traffic to figure out if they're facing towards or away from the street and which direction they need to turn to correct it. I'm now going to demonstrate how this can be done with a student, starting with my selection of a site for training her. This training should be done where there are no clues for alignment other than the traffic sounds. So the students need to stand where they cannot feel the sun or any slopes in the pavement or cracks in the surface, and where there is no steady sound that can be localized. So I chose a place that was flat, in the shade, and had no steady sounds that she could use to get her line. So the only thing she had to get her line from was the sound of the cars. So now, let's bring our student to the site and position her so she is standing parallel to the street beside her, and ask her to listen to how the traffic sounds when she is aligned correctly. Now, when the cars come by, let me get you straight here. When the cars come by, I want you to listen to how they sound as they come by. You're going to start when you first hear them behind you and follow their sound all the way straight ahead. Whatever that sounds like, that's straight, okay? You can keep listening to them until you think you kind of get an idea of how that line of sound is. Here comes a bus. So listen to it from behind. It's close.
Yes.
Okay. And the sound that it makes, the line that it makes as it travels, is parallel to you. So that's what it should sound like when you're straight. Got it? Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to turn just a little bit towards them and listen to how it sounds when you're not straight. You hear the difference?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to turn a little bit to the right. Good. And that's straight, and a little bit more so you're not straight. This is what it sounds like when you're not straight. Here comes someone from behind you. This is what it sounds like when it's not straight. I don't know if you could hear that with the other car. Shall we listen for another one?
Yes.
Yeah. Here comes another one from behind.
A little bit far.
Okay. A little bit behind you maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, I'm going to ask you to turn around. In fact, if you'll take my arm, we can walk around. When the student stops turning, she is facing about 70 degrees too far to the right, away from the parallel street. Okay, now I want you to position yourself so it sounded like it did when you were straight. The student turns toward the street a little too far, so she is facing about 10 degrees to the left of street. Okay, that sounds straight to you, huh? Not bad, not bad. It's slightly off. I want you, don't move, but listen, is it slightly off so that you're facing too much toward them, or slightly off so you're facing too much away from them?
Too close.
Too close,
Yeah.
so that it's in front of you and you need to turn away from them, or it's behind you, you need to turn toward them?
They are too close. I should stay
Turn
back.
away from them. Good. Okay, why don't you turn away from them and see if it's better? The student turns slightly to the right and then sidesteps away from the street. It became clear that she hadn't realized that we had been focusing on the line that the sound of the traffic made while moving along the street. She thought she was supposed to figure out how close to the traffic she should stand. To explain the line of the street and its traffic, and the angle of that line in relationship to the student, I like to use a long rod, such as a cane or umbrella. I hold it horizontally beside the students and position it parallel to the street and line of traffic movement so they can feel the angle of that line in relation to their body. Or they position it themselves to show me how the angle of the traffic sounds to them, or where they think it should sound in relation to their body. Having a line that is concrete to manipulate and maneuver is useful for facilitating communication with students, as it allows you to describe the angle and direction of traffic precisely. This is especially true for students who were born blind and are challenged to imagine themselves in relation to an acoustic wall that they can hear but not touch. Away from you. So if it comes from the back, bring your hand to the back of the cane. So it comes from behind you, comes up beside you, move your hand up to the front, move your hand, comes beside you, and goes off in front of you. That's where that car that just went by there, it's going parallel to you like that, okay? So I'm going to leave this here beside you. Why don't you just, we'll put it down to your side and just have one hand on it. And I'm going to turn you again to face parallel to, there you go, good. So that's what we want you to be. We don't care how close or far you are, it's this direct, we don't want you so that you're facing like this, we want you facing so that it's right beside you, okay? So listen to how that sounds when you're straight. While the student holds the cane beside her and listens to what traffic sounds like when she's parallel to it, I hold the end of the cane to make sure it stays parallel to her body. As always, I avoid standing between her and the traffic sounds.
Okay, now I can feel like the car is coming like this.
Yes, in the same line as the cane,
the
right?
tires, yes.
Yes, and it makes the same line that the cane does. In other words, coming across and going off forward like that. But
No, I can hear the second car was going like that, the one
Yes.
he drives his car.
great, great. Now I'm going to keep this cane here. I want you to turn a little bit to your left.
Okay.
Okay, good, that's good. And now you know that the cane is kind of in front of you, huh?
Yes.
Run your hand along that cane, and it's kind of going at an angle, right? Kind of in front of you, not beside you like it was before. And this is what the cars will sound like too. They're going to sound like they're coming from back here
Yeah.
and coming across in front of you and going off in front of you and off to your right. Okay? Here comes one.
Yeah, I can feel it's coming.
Good, good. In front of you. It shouldn't sound like that, right? Good. All right, now I want you to go straight again. And we're going to listen to again straight. Another car that's going straight. All right, a car's coming from behind you.
Yes. It's coming
Okay, so you can
straight.
tell that line. Good. Now I want you to, I'm going to keep the cane here. I want you to turn to your right just a little bit. Your right, the other way. Yeah, there, good. This far. Good. Now the car should sound like this. It's going to be back behind you, coming up, and then going off to your left, not straight. So let's see what that sounds like. Can you hear that line?
Yes.
Good. All right. So do you want to hear a little bit more, or are you ready to try it?
Let me hear now.
Okay. Tell where. Here comes a car from behind you. Did you hear? It was going off to the left too much.
Yeah.
It should be going off in front of you like this. When I say, quote, like this, unquote, I am moving the cane to demonstrate what I mean. But it's going off this way.
Right.
Do you want to listen to some more, or do you think you got it?
I think I got it.
All right. So let's turn you around. The student ends up facing about 15 degrees to the right of straight. All right. Now I want you to listen to the cars and position yourself again so that the cars are going off just like this cane is right beside you and to front and back evenly. As the student listens, she is holding the cane parallel to her body. Did that sound like it's going off the way the cane is going?
not the. I need to
Can
do
you
something.
move the cane so it's in the same way the car was going? She turns the cane to the left. No, it was going that exactly. That's exactly where it is. I'm going to hold it there because that's exactly where the car is. Turn your body so it's beside you instead of off behind. There you go. She turns her body so that it is also parallel to the street. Later, we try again to align to the sound of traffic. What do you think? Are you straight or do you need to turn a little bit?
I think I should go a little bit like that.
All right, turn your body, not the cane. Turn your body. So, yeah. Okay. Unless we're straight. Yes, yes, you turn to right. Good. Bring your feet with you. That's good. All right, so you've turned. You think you've corrected it. We'll see. Did you turn just right? Too much? Not enough? That's fabulous, Jemana. You were close enough. I would have said you were correct if you said I'm straight, but you didn't. You heard it was slightly off and you turned slightly. Let's see if that was enough to be straight, or did you need to turn some more, or was that not enough? So listen to another one. You're starting to hear now, huh? When they're the line of the traffic. Good. Haven't really turned. Did it sound right to you?
Yes, I'm not really.
It was perfect. It was, you were nice and straight. Very good. All right, so you got the idea?
Yes.
So if we practice this enough, you'll get better and better, but that's the idea of how. Thank you so much. Once this training is done, students can practice using the sound of the traffic to keep their alignment while crossing. For students who are too distracted with other street crossing tasks or fear to be able to do this well, I provide an exercise that allows them to concentrate on nothing but the task of using the traffic sounds to maintain their line of travel while crossing. I first disorient them by guiding them in circles at the corner, then face us to cross the street either straight or crooked. As I guide them into the street, the students listen to the traffic to figure out whether we're going straight. Jomana correctly indicates that we are going straight. If traffic sounds indicate that we're not going straight, the student has to notice it and then correct our direction, as Jomana does here. Here is one last example where we wait until the traffic on the parallel street starts to surge forward, and I start guiding us into the street crooked. Again, Jomana hears that we're facing wrong and turns me to go straight.
Thank you, Jomana. Thank you.
Many thanks to Jomana Sauerberger, who agreed to learn these skills with her vision occluded, and Paul Sauerberger, our videographer for the street crossing scenes. This videotape was made by Donna Sauerberger, COMS, at www.sauerberger.org/Donna. That's www.sauerberger.org/DONA.